Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Moments Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with Sid Roderer, my co-host. Sid, how are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm lovely. It seems like, a hot minute since I've been here. You've been riding solo for a couple episodes, so I'm glad. I'm glad to be back. It's great to be here. So
it's good to have you back.
Oh, good. Well, I know you're an expert at this anyways, and you do it when I'm here or when I'm not, but you want to talk about our sponsor?
Of course. I'd love to talk about our sponsor, who is the Empowering Seniors Group, a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, and really anyone that likes to listen to us. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniors.cv@gmail.com. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for the show, anyone you would like to see us invite, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Wow.
Almost forgot my phone number.
Yeah. Easy. Well, you're our guest today. And so I'm really excited. With the changes in, with the elections and things like that, there seems to be some excitement in the air with people putting their homes up for sale and maybe buying. So do you want to dive into kind of what's been going on with the real estate world?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the prognosis for real estate is definitely, there's some felt enthusiasm. So the NAR chief economist put a statement out, a news release on November 8th, actually, but I don't think he's changed his mind since then, with a forecast. And he is saying that he has a prognosis for a 9% increase in home sales for 2025. And even a 13% for 2026, with the mortgage rates stabilizing somewhere around the 6%. But he sees fluctuation between 5.5% to 6.5% coming in, because the stock market's optimistic too.
So
yeah, sorry.
What's rate going for right now? What are you looking at for most of the mortgage rates?
I don't want to be held on that one as we actually pre-record this show. So the rate may be different when this airs, but it's between 6.5 to 7 is where we've been.
Okay. So so it's improving, definitely.
I think it's definitely, we've had a drop, it's improving, so don't hold me to this exact date where it's at. Give me a call if you want to know what today's rate is at.
Well, I mean, that's always changing, and so you can't take our word for it anyways. Talk to a loan officer or whatnot and see what you can get it for, but it's good to know kind of a general what's been happening, and now looking forward with the optimism of the rates going down and more homes being sold.
Absolutely. I think for someone who's not working in this all the time, when we're talking about the rates, what you really have to think about that the lower the rate, the higher the buying power is. So some people that maybe weren't in the market before are then going to be able to afford a home, or it's going to change what price range they can look at. So it definitely breathes some life into this market. So the current listings are somewhere in the 500 range for residential. And I don't know, I love statistics, but I don't want to get too technical. So one of the things maybe that I wanted to talk about too is especially in regards to seniors, how difficult it sometimes is to make that decision to let go of your family home that you've raised your kids in, because that's something that I encounter with many clients. And sometimes, even though they're aware that they might have to give up their current home because there's too many stairs or too much yard work, it's always such a tough decision to let go of that, even though you can you can take the memories either way.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think the biggest holdup is? The memories, or they think that, hey, we're abandoning our memories from it, or what is the holdup, do you think?
I think it's plentyfold. For one, I think it's that somehow people feel that they do forget things that happened in that house, which I can guarantee you doesn't happen. And actually, on a sideline, one thing I've done for past clients that have lived in their homes, I've done a little photo book for them with the images that we put online for the sale to kind of have a keepsake and to remember what the house looked like. And that's always been well received to check out the rooms that you've lived in.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, growing up, my parents, we remodeled countless times. We just stayed in the same house. We just remodeled so it fit. And thinking about that is, it would have been cool to have all those pictures of how it looked in the different stages and whatnot in your life. So it's a great idea. So who should be looking at, hey, maybe my house, it's time to let it go?
Well, I guess, on a personal note, because I've seen that happening in my family too, I feel that sometimes it's maybe a little wiser to start playing with that thought at some point in time, that it's foreseeable that you may not be able to take care of the yard. You don't want the house to be run down if you have to sell it at some point in time. And nothing is great under pressure. It's so much better if you plan ahead a little bit, and maybe also, I know before we started this show, there's actually a term in Sweden. It's called a death clean, that I wanted to chat about on this show, which is a fascinating, and I've had several family members actually that have done that. So a Swedish death clean it sounds horrible, but it's actually a wonderful thing, because it's in anticipation that you're maybe in the last quarter of your lifetime, you are cleaning up in and around your house, discarding of any items you're not using. It's a good time to maybe pass on some heirlooms already to the children and grandchildren, sort through things and not leave all these items for your heirs to have to go through and battle and decide on what happens with it.
I think that's fantastic. I know that, when my grandparents passed away, that was one of the things is as my grandma passed away, they were going through all of her jewelry and different things, and all the sisters had to get together and really, figure out who gets what and what not. And then when my grandpa passed away, before he did that, he started giving out the stuff. Oh, this fits you. This, here you go. And it was pretty smooth that way, because he got to decide what, and who got what, right? What goes where and who got what. And that was more of his decision instead of everyone fighting over it at the end. So. Yeah.
I know some other cases also in my family where things were not like that. And then there were dumpsters and dumpsters full of things that went to the landfill because nobody could get rid of them. And it was kind of a sad show to see all the things that were discarded because people just simply couldn't take all those things home. But we're already coming up on our first break here in a hurry. So let me mention our sponsor one more time, which is the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. Or you can email us at empoweringseniors.cv@gmail.com. And then lastly, because we're talking real estate, if you have any real estate questions, if you just want to sit down and establish the value of your home, or would like some advice on maybe how to plan ahead towards that time frame where you think you might want to downsize or get into a more appropriate age-friendly home, you can call me at 435-512-6406. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roderer with Achievement Realty.
I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton with my co-host and guest today, Sid Roderer. Sid, you've been telling us about some real estate trends and things that are going on. But before we broke.
We broke.
We went to our break. This is doing really awesome. Sounded really awkward. Yes. Hey, but before we went to the break, you were telling us about the Swedish death clean, which sounds terrible, but it actually is a pretty good idea.
It's a wonderful thing, actually. Yes, and yeah, let me maybe bring that up in case somebody hasn't tuned in until now. So yeah, in Sweden, a lot of the Swedes plan very consciously that at some point in time they may not be in their family home forever, and do what's called a death clean. So what it is they get rid of things, pass down into the family, or just get rid of items that they don't use anymore. And so there's not a lot of stuff left behind, because working in real estate, I've more than once, I have seen transactions where there was a lot of things in the house and in the garages and barns that had to be discarded. It's always a little bit heartbreaking to see some of the things that obviously had some value to the individual at some point in time. That, people didn't want it, or, things had to move quick. So at some point in time, everybody was saturated with taking family items home to all of the kids and grandkids that, the rest just ended in the landfill.
So is this something that the person themselves does, or do they get their family involved, or does it matter?
I think you can structure that how you want. I just think I'm personally in a purge right now, which is kind of refreshing. You feel so lightened when you throw out all the things that you didn't use, or offer them up for free, or if you pick them up. That's worked really well for me. You can structure that any way you want. I think if you clarify which items you still want to hold on to, and you have your family members walk through and maybe have a discussion, are there things that would interest you? Or I'm trying to get rid of these things. Do you want them now, or do you mind if I get rid of them? Is it gonna... are you going to be sorry if I discard this now? I think you can involve them, but you don't have to, because clearly it's your belongings, so you can do what you want.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the big thing with this is start having the discussion, or start thinking about it now. So, and the other thing is downsizing the home, right? You said, hey, you might not be in this home forever. There's a time and a place to downsize. So what does that start looking like? Like what... For you, in your experience, what are some of the benefits for as people age to downsize out of that family home where they raised all their kids and have all those memories?
Right. it's just, we all know we're getting older. And at some point in time, whether it's a health issue or just that your strength isn't there anymore, for a lot of people, yard work becomes a factor. Upcoming home repairs may become a factor, even financially. Quite obviously, if you have to sell your home, if it's in a better condition, it's an easier sale than if there's repairs that need to be done, because a buyer is always going to try to downwards negotiate if they see that, oh yeah, I can see a new roof needs to come on, the furnace is 40 years old, all those items, so just thinking a little bit ahead and trying to, I think this is probably the hardest part for most people, is to emotionally disconnect and look at your own home with fresh eyes, with buyer's eyes. If I were to walk in here and saw all of this and it wasn't mine, would that be appealing to me? Or, all the repairs, renovations, how outdated is your home? The newer generations, I hate to say it, are not, my generation was still a generation we loved to update things and paint and fix things. A lot of the younger ones don't love it that much.
They just like it. Come in and have it fresh.
Move in ready. And yes, immaculate.
Okay. So if someone was curious about that, like, hey, what would I need to do to update my house, and just get their brain thinking, could they just give you a call?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is what I thrive on, I will have to say, is, even if you're not in the market to sell your home, but it's going to happen, give me a call. Let's have a walkthrough. Let me give you some outside perspective on what I see. Maybe let's sit down a little bit, talk about how to organize things, or there are actually people that professionally do this. If you care to have someone come in and help you organize and sort through things, it does exist. There are professional organizers. That might be an idea too. If you even just want to have an idea what your home is worth, if you had to sell it right now, if you want to go out there and have a look at the alternatives, like a single level home, something smaller, maybe a townhouse, maybe getting into a 55 plus HOA. There's so many options of the direction you could go. Some people like to move south. What does that look like? What is that market like down there? All things I'm happy to help with. So maybe this is a good time to mention my phone number again, which is 435-512-6406.
Nice. You nailed it that time. Well, so in the break, we were talking about other reasons why it might be nice to downsize. And part of that would be to save some money, right? Is a bigger home costs more to heat and cool. You have all your house maintenance and different things. So what are some of the biggest options that you see as people are like, hey, I want to downsize? What's usually some of the better options? Do they go to an independent living? Do they go to that 55 and older? What's kind of the market look like out there for those?
Yeah, that is such a personal question, and it really looks different for everyone. There are people that feel at a certain age moving into a 55 plus HOA is a wonderful thing, and it definitely has a lot of benefits, because if you do that, then you don't have any lawn care, all the outside care is taken care of. Typically, those HOAs also do the external repairs. So if something's wrong with the roof or something like that, obviously, you want a real estate agent involved and kind of educate you on how HOAs work and how you need to be involved there to make sure that the coffers have the money to do those repairs. So a little disclaimer on that. But HOAs can be a great thing because you don't have to worry about snow removal. There's plenty of them that have clubhouses. So if you're worried, if you're downsizing, that you can't host your family dinners anymore, a lot of HOAs have even theater rooms and kitchens that you can use, which is wonderful. We're coming up here on our second break, so we can chat a little bit more about HOAs and all those things, but we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
Bye!
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Hi, this is Sid Roderer with Achievement Realty.
Let me help you to find a home that suits your needs and is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Call me today at 512-6406, then list it, sell it, and move on.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
And welcome back to our Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with my co-host and guest, Sid Roderer. She's been telling us all about the market trends and what to do if you want to downsize your home. We left off and you were telling us about HOAs. And I sit there and when I hear HOA, I think, golly, I don't want to have to pay more money to live in my house. But you were telling me some of the benefits.
Yeah, so maybe with a grain of salt. So an HOA, a homeowner association, obviously, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about them, and they're not all the same. And they can't be because they don't cover all the same. So even sometimes it even bothers me using that term because everybody has a precise picture of how this looks like. And it doesn't, because there are some HOAs. I know in your neighborhood, there is an HOA because one of my children lives there. That just does snow removal. That's it. So the only argument these homeowners could get into over is who is doing it and if they're charging a fair price. Other than that, no discussion. That's all there is. There are HOAs, and it's very typical for a lot of the HOAs that they do all external repairs. That means if you have a crack in the stucco, something wrong with your roof, all those things are covered by the HOA. And of course, there is a fee associated with that. The way I always like to think of it is you're paying your roof repair and your facade repair every month over years, which is a little easier than having to come up with thousands of dollars at one point in time to do the repair. So to me, that can be a great benefit. Of course, the thing you have to watch out for, and I always recommend to any client of mine that goes into an HOA, is I highly recommend attending the meetings. I highly recommend making sure that you understand the budget and what is in the coffers for all those bigger repairs. I sometimes struggle a little bit with newer HOAs that have a very low HOA fee that in my eyes are missing the foresight that 15 years down the road, you're going to start looking at some repairs. And if you don't have the money for it, then you have to have a special assessment. And then people do need to come up with a larger amount at one point in time. So don't think that an HOA that has a low HOA fee is necessarily a good HOA, because in my eyes, that always makes me very skeptical.
So do your research on your HOA and where you want to live, but it can be beneficial. You know, one of the things we talked about in the break that you were talking about might be beneficial is people are worried, hey, I kind of want to sell my house, but I'm not sure. You talked about getting your house set up and rent it for a while and see if that's okay if you Or if you want to go back, that's a great option. You want to tell us how to go about doing that?
Yeah, I've had that in the past with clients that wanted to try out, for example, independent living. They thought they didn't want to live in their house anymore, but wanted, obviously assisted living wasn't there yet, so they wanted the independent living, and they went into a facility that allowed a 3-month trial period. And then I had one client that rented his house for that period of time. Another one just left it vacant and waited and saw if they liked it or not. And that's definitely an option. And Achievement Realty, we do have property management. There it is. We have a property management branch. So if you have some questions also for a shorter term rental of like 3 to 6 months to kind of get an idea and maybe change your mind and say, no, I would like to live in my own house.
That's fantastic. So with downsizing and all these other things, people are thinking, golly, it snows a lot in Cache Valley.
Yeah.
So what are options there?
Oh, absolutely. It totally depends on your financial situation. If we're talking down south St. George area, obviously the market is a little different. It's a little hotter. It's more expensive than it is in Cache Valley. So I have seen some people that have had a little bit of a financial issue being able to find something down there that suited them, which actually brings up a lending product that I find under those circumstances might be interesting, which is a reverse mortgage. And I'm always happy to have people educated. If you have any questions, there's no strings attached. I'm always happy to sit down with you and look at all of the many options that you have, what it would look like, and also go out and maybe look at some of the home options that are there.
Are they usually looking at going down all the way down to St. George? Is there warmer places between here and St. George that people like to go? I'm just curious for myself.
Well, I've seen some that didn't go quite as far. They went to Cedar City. But St. George, especially for our seniors, seems to have a strong pull.
Yeah. A lot of pickleball and golf. I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. This is fantastic. There's a lot to think about with real estate, but I think the big take away from this episode, start thinking about it. Look at your situation and see, hey, what's realistic for me? Can I stay in my home for, another 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and then start making a game plan accordingly so that you're not pressured. I liked when you said that earlier, that, hey, you don't have to rush into things. And if we're prepared, things will go a lot smoother.
Exactly. And I love to help people making a long-term plan. Don't feel bad contacting me now and kind of getting an idea on what things you could prepare. Sadly, we're at the end of our show here. This is the Senior Moments Show. Again, if you'd like to get a hold of me, it's 435-512-6406. And we hope you tune in again next week.